Joining me now is New South Wales Metropolitan Roads and Women's Safety Minister, Natalie Ward. Natalie Ward, thanks so much for your time. 3 days out, how are you realistically feeling about your prospects?
Feeling good. We're working incredibly hard, Andrew. We've been out on the ground with our candidates, all locals who are working really hard for their communities, who are energetic. We've seen Kelly Sloan in Vaucluse, a great fresh-faced professional local. We've seen our candidates with real energy, and we're raring to go. We've got a long-term economic plan. We've got local plans. We've got people who really understand their communities and want to continue the great delivery that we've seen so far under the Privatisation government.
The government really does have an incredible infrastructure record, as you know. Have you done enough to prosecute that as a government in this campaign?
Well, I think our vision, the $116 billion infrastructure pipeline speaks to we're not just planning for this election, we are planning for the next generation. And we're really clear about our vision for New South Wales about keeping it moving forward, because we know that we need to have that investment, that infrastructure continuing, particularly out west where you've seen our vision for the metros. In my portfolio, I've got 5 new motorways opening, one every year for the next 5 years. All of those are under construction right now. They're budgeted for, and I think those local communities see those, but as they come online, as we've seen with WestConnex, the travel time savings, 40 minutes on WestConnex, people are seeing that. I get calls from people all the time now we've opened the M4, M8 tunnels about how happy they are with the travel time savings. That will continue with the third harbour crossing. That will continue with the M12 out to the new airport, the M6 down there at Cogra. We'll see each of those coming online, the Sydney Gateway, and of course this year opening the Rozelle interchange, connecting up those last parts of WestConnex. We'll see that game-changing infrastructure already. The benefits have come online, and I think locals see that once they travel through those game-changing pieces of motorway infrastructure. That really makes a difference to people's lives. Saving that time is crucial, particularly for tradies and truckies who need to get to more jobs more often. That all helps.
And Natalie Ward, privatisation was such a big part of building all the stuff you built. Why did the Premier rule out further privatisation?
I think you cut your cloth according to the time. We went to an election in 2015 on the poles and wires. We got a mandate to do that. We recycled those assets into WestConnex, something opposed by Labor. It would never have been built under them. WestConnex is now just about finished. We've seen the excellent delivery of that project. But what we see now is economic headwinds. We have our projects that are planned for, they're budgeted for, they're costed, they're already there. And we see at the moment that we've made the decision to rule out any further privatisations despite the Labor scare campaign. We're very clear about what we've got in the pipeline is budgeted for. We know we can pay for that, and so we've been clear about that.
All right, well, I've received some polling and I've heard internal party polling shows a big vote for One Nation in Western Sydney. Doesn't this show that by defending these seats in your neck of the woods around Manly, etc., you've lost voters in outer suburban areas to One Nation?
Look, I think you don't want to risk a Greens Labor government with voting for One Nation. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get with them. That's the issue. With our plan, we're really clear about our vision for New South Wales. I don't quite know what you'd be getting under One Nation, except the potential risk of a Greens Labor government. And I think people need to think very carefully about that. If they're tempted by some of the One Nation headlines, I can understand the attractiveness of some of those policies, but you don't really know where that leads to in terms of a government that's actually in action. What are you receiving? How are they addressing cost of living? How are they addressing energy? How are they addressing the things that really matter to a family budget? How are they ensuring that the energy rebate continues? What's their plan for infrastructure going forward? How are they going to build the schools? I don't quite know how they're going to deal with my energy bill. I know under us you'll get our rebate, and that's very clear that's in place. But I just don't know that people really want to take that risk while ever we are facing economic headwinds, inflation, it changes, and people really want to know, what are you doing for me in my household budget right now?
And just finally, has the party failed to do enough to pre-select enough women to take on Labor? You, for example, couldn't manage to get the Davidson pre-selection. You're a senior minister. Is that a weakness going into this election?
I think people don't really care about internal Liberal Party issues. I think what they want to see is hardworking local members who are delivering for their communities, and that's exactly what we're doing. I'm doing that. I have the great privilege of doing that in my portfolios with women's safety and Metropolitan roads, but I see really hardworking, energetic members across our party and some fresh faces who have such energy, who really want to give back to their communities, and I'm really pleased that we have those representatives out there that will really come from their communities and prosecute the case hard for each of their local issues. And that's what I think matters to people when they're voting. They want to know, what are you going to do for me locally? How are you going to prosecute that case, and how are you going to deliver it? And that's what we're very clear about.
So I said finally, but I will ask one final one. What's your prediction for Saturday night? You're joining us on the panel.
Yeah, it'd be a great privilege. Look, I think it's going to be very close. There's obviously people are working very hard in each of their seats, so I do think it will come down to on the night we'll have some very close calls, and I know that we're working incredibly hard in each of those local communities to demonstrate our local credentials, and that's ultimately what people care about. But I think it's going to be a very close call. It might be a long night for us on the panel, Andrew.
Natalie Ward, thanks for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.